All right, so picture this. You're the first person ever to be worth like over $400 billion.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's Elon Musk. We're going to be looking at this recent Forbes article that goes into like how he hit that massive milestone.
Wow.
But more importantly, what it means for companies like, SpaceX, Tesla, even his AI venture xAI. So let's kick things off with SpaceX. They had the share buyback recently that valued them at, get this, $350 billion. That makes them like the most valuable private company in the world. That's right, like one company, more valuable than most countries.
Insane.
And this valuation, just this alone, added $58 billion to Musk's net worth.
In a single day.
In a single day.
That's wild.
And what's even more interesting is that, with the price tag that high, you'd think investors would be like, okay, I'm cashing out. But they're holding onto those SpaceX shares. They see something even bigger coming.
Yeah, I think it goes beyond just, launching satellites and stuff. Investors are, they're betting on the whole future of space. Things like asteroid mining, space tourism, even manufacturing on the moon.
Wow.
Imagine, like, the resources from asteroids being used to build, like, your next phone. Or a weekend getaway that involves a trip to, like, a lunar resort.
Wow.
That's the future this valuation kind of hints at.
I would sign up for that future. Yeah, it kind of reminds me of like the early internet days. Everyone knew something big was coming, but like no one could really grasp like the full potential of it. Speaking of sensing potential, we got to talk about Tesla, right? Their shares have gone up like over 70% since the November election. Part of that is probably linked to Musk's relationship with the incoming U.S. president. You might be thinking about his involvement with DOGE. That's the Department of Government Efficiency, which has been, a bit of a talking point. Some people think it could create a conflict of interest.
Right, because DOGE is supposed to, help streamline government regulations and spending. Now the question is, could that influence policies that affect Tesla, maybe give them an edge in the electric vehicle market?
Yeah, it's definitely something to think about. This connection between his political ties and his businesses definitely raises some questions about, transparency and how it might affect public perception. But let's move on to another one of his ventures, xAI, his artificial intelligence startup, already valued at $50 billion, making it a real player in the AI field. What's interesting about xAI is how it compares to companies like OpenAI, the folks behind ChatGPT. Both are right at the forefront of AI development, but their approach is pretty different.
Yeah, OpenAI has been focused on developing these large language models, essentially AI that can understand and generate like human-like text. They see that as the path toward artificial general intelligence, or AGI, like an AI that could perform any intellectual task a human can. Sure. xAI seems to be taking a different path. We don't have all the details yet, but early signs suggest they're focusing on a more mathematically rigorous approach to AI.
Right.
Maybe aiming to understand the core principles of intelligence itself.
Oh, wow.
Imagine an AI that doesn't just mimic human intelligence, but actually like surpasses it, understands the universe in ways we can't even imagine.
That's both exciting and a little bit scary, right?
Yeah.
But speaking of things that are hard to grasp, let's circle back to Elon Musk himself. With a net worth over $400 billion, he's not just leading the pack, he's like in his own league. To put that into perspective, there's like a $180 billion gap between him and Jeff Bezos, who's in second place. This level of wealth concentration, it's kind of unprecedented, in modern history at least. Makes you wonder about the impact of having so much financial power concentrated in one person.
Yeah, it does raise some big questions. It's not just about the number itself, but the potential influence that comes with it. Like, could this level of wealth translate into, undue political power, shaping policies and regulations in ways that benefit, just a select few? And what does that do to our society, our economy, our future? These are the questions we need to be asking.
Absolutely. But even with like such a golden year, Musk haven't been immune to challenges. Remember the controversy surrounding his Tesla stock options? Earlier this year, a Delaware judge actually invalidated his 2018 deal for options, equivalent to like 9% of Tesla. Back then, that was worth around $56 billion.
So this deal was basically a compensation package,
right,
where Musk would get stock options if Tesla hit certain performance milestones. But the judge ruled that it was unfair to Tesla shareholders, too generous, and didn't really consider their interests.
And to make things even more interesting, the judge recently upheld that decision, even though Tesla shareholders voted to reapprove the options package back in June.
Yeah, so Forbes has adjusted their valuation of those options, discounted them by 50% while Musk appeals. But even with that discount, they're still worth almost $60 billion.
It's a really complex situation. It brings up those, big questions about executive compensation and corporate governance. Like, how do we make sure CEOs are rewarded fairly for their work without, hurting the interests of the shareholders? And speaking of fairness, there's another thing about Musk's wealth that's worth looking at. His wealth isn't tied to those traditional industries like oil or banking.
Right. He's built his fortune on innovation and technology, especially in those sectors that are like growing exponentially. Space exploration, electric vehicles, artificial intelligence. It's almost like he's riding a wave of the future,
Yeah. And it's a wave that's creating massive wealth, not just for Musk himself, but for, a lot of early investors and employees in those companies.
Exactly. And that raises another set of questions about how wealth is distributed in this era of rapid technological change. Are the benefits of all this progress being shared fairly? Or are we just seeing the gap widen between those who are riding this wave and those who are being left behind?
It's definitely something to think about. But even with all his success, Musk is still a pretty polarizing figure, isn't he?
Oh yeah, he is. Some people see him as this visionary genius, like a modern day Thomas Edison pushing the limits of what's possible. Others see him as this reckless billionaire, more concerned with his own ambition than the consequences of his actions.
It's funny how people's perceptions of him can be so different. It's like his bold personality and risk-taking are both like admired and criticized at the same time.
Yeah, it's a great observation. It seems like that approach, that willingness to push boundaries has been a key factor in both his successes and his controversies.
It's almost like he embodies the two sides of this technological age, the huge potential for good and the inherent risks that come with pushing the limits of innovation. Yeah,
exactly. And it's that duality that makes his story so compelling, so relevant to where we are right now.
Okay, so let's kind of take a step back for a second and go over some of the key points from this Forbes article. We've talked about SpaceX's insane valuation and why investors are so confident. We've gone deep into Tesla's growth and the questions around Musk's political connections.
And we've looked at XAI becoming this major force in the AI world and the potential it has to reshape how we even understand intelligence.
Right, and we can't forget about the challenges Musk has faced. Those court decisions about his Tesla stock options, those issues highlight how complicated corporate governance can be and raise important questions about, executive pay and shareholder rights.
It's a good reminder that even with, unprecedented success, there are still checks and balances in place.
Yeah.
Try and ensure fairness and accountability.
It's like we're watching this real life drama play out with these high stakes and unexpected twists and a cast of characters who are like literally shaping the future as we speak.
And right at the center of it all is Elon Musk, the enigmatic billionaire who's become this symbol of this whole technological era.
Yeah, and I think it's safe to say that Musk's story is far from over. And with the speed he's moving at, we can expect, even more groundbreaking innovations, more, bold statements, and probably a few more controversies along the way.
Oh yeah, definitely. But what's really fascinating is the ripple effect of his actions.
Yeah.
His ventures aren't just about, building companies or making money. They're about pushing the limits of what's possible and making us confront the implications of those advancements.
It's like he's holding up a mirror to society, showing us both our hopes and our fears about the future.
That's a really powerful way to put it. And it brings us back to why we're doing this deep dive in the first place. We're not just here to report the news or analyze numbers. We're here to explore the deeper meaning, the human impact of these big technological shifts.
And to give you, the listener, the tools to engage with these issues and think about how they might affect your own life and the world around you.
Exactly. Because at the end of the day, the future isn't something that just happens to us. It's something we create through our choices, our actions, how we interact with the world.
So as we go deeper into Elon Musk's world, let's not just be, passive observers. Let's be active participants in shaping the future we want.
And to do that, we need to stay informed, stay engaged, and most importantly, stay curious.
Now, with all that said, remember that Musk's incredible journey to becoming the world's first 400 billionaire, it's a testament to his ambition, his relentless drive, and his his willingness to take risks. It's also a reminder that we live in a time of unprecedented opportunity, where innovation and technology are reshaping our world at an amazing pace. But this rapid progress, it also comes with a huge sense of responsibility. We have the power to shape the future, to steer technology towards a path that benefits all of humanity, whether it's, exploring space with SpaceX, accelerating the switch to sustainable energy with Tesla, or unlocking the potential of AI with XAI. The choices we make today will have a big impact down the line.
You're absolutely right. It's not just about the companies themselves, but the bigger implications of their work. Will space exploration become this collaborative thing that brings nations together? Or will it lead to a new kind of space race? Will electric vehicles really make a difference in fighting climate change? Or will they just become another luxury for the rich? And will AI be used to empower us or to control us? These are questions that we really need to think about carefully.
It's a lot to think about, but thinking about these questions is exactly what we need to do. Looking back at this Forbes article, we've covered a lot of ground today. We've explored SpaceX's crazy valuation, Tesla's impressive growth, the emergence of XAI. We've also, wrestled with the complexities of Musk's wealth, his political influence, and even the controversies around how he does business. But if there's one thing I want you to take away from this deep dive, it's this: the future isn't set in stone. It's being shaped right now by the decisions we make, the technologies we develop, the conversations we have.
And it's important to remember that you, the listener, you're part of that conversation. Your thoughts, your actions, your choices, they all contribute to where we're headed.
So as we wrap up this exploration of Elon Musk's world, let's not just be, sitting on the sidelines. Let's be active in shaping the future we want to see.
And to do that, we've got to stay informed, stay engaged, and most importantly, stay curious.
This is where our deep dive ends, but hopefully it's just the start of a much bigger conversation for you. Until next time.
See ya. Yeah, it's like he's riding that wave, that future wave.
And a wave that's creating, tons of wealth, not just for Musk, but for those early investors and employees at those companies.
Right, and that brings up another question about, how wealth is spread around. In this time of fast technological change, are the benefits of all this progress, are they being shared fairly? Or is the gap just getting bigger between, the people riding the wave and the people who are being left behind?
Yeah, it's something to think about for sure. But even with all the success he's had, Musk is he's kind of a controversial figure, right?
Oh, yeah, definitely. Yeah. Some people see him as this visionary genius, a modern-day Thomas Edison, pushing the boundaries and all that.
Yeah.
Others see him as this reckless billionaire, more worried about his own ambition than the consequences.
It's interesting how people see him so differently. It's like his boldness, his risk-taking, it's both admired and criticized,
Yeah, that's true. It seems like that approach, that willingness to push those boundaries has been a big part of both his successes and his controversies.
It's almost like he represents both sides of this tech age, right? The huge potential for good and the risks that come with, pushing those limits.
Exactly. And that's what makes his story so interesting, so relevant to what's happening now.
Okay. Let's take a step back here and recap some of the main points from this Forbes article. We talked about SpaceX's crazy valuation and why investors are so confident in them. We dug into Tesla's growth and the questions about Musk's political ties.
And we looked at XAI becoming this major player in AI and its potential to change how we even think about intelligence.
Right. And we can't forget about those challenges he's faced. Like those court rulings about his Tesla stock options, those really highlight the complicated nature of corporate governance and raise questions about executive pay and shareholder rights.
It's a good reminder that even with, this level of success, there are still systems in place to make sure things are fair and people are held accountable.
It's like we're watching this real life drama unfold, with high stakes and twists and turns, and these characters who are literally shaping the future.
And Elon Musk is right there in the center, this enigmatic billionaire who's become a symbol of this whole tech era.
Yeah, and I think it's safe to say his story isn't over yet. At the rate he's moving, we can expect even more groundbreaking things, more bold pronouncements, and probably some more controversies too.
Yeah, for sure. But what's really interesting is the the impact of what he does. His ventures, they're not just about building companies or making money. They're about pushing the limits of what's even possible and making us face the consequences of that.
It's like he's holding up this mirror to society, showing us our hopes and our anxieties about the future.
That's a great way to put it. And it reminds us why we're doing this deep dive. It's not just about reporting the news or analyzing numbers. We want to explore the deeper meaning, the human impact of these big technological changes.
And to give you, the listener, the tools to engage with these issues and think about how they might affect your life and the world you live in.
Right, because ultimately the future isn't something that just happens. We create it by the choices we make, how we act, how we interact with the world.
So as we dig deeper into Elon Musk's world, let's not just watch from the sidelines. Let's be active in shaping the future we want.
And to do that, we have to stay informed, stay engaged, and most of all, stay curious.
So with all that said, Musk's journey to becoming the world's first 400 billionaire, it shows his ambition, his drive, and his willingness to, take those risks. It's also a reminder that we live in a time of amazing opportunity, where innovation and technology are changing everything so fast. But that progress, it comes with a big responsibility. We have the power to guide the future, to use technology in a way that benefits all of humanity, whether it's, exploring space with SpaceX, or making the switch to sustainable energy with Tesla, or figuring out the potential of AI with XAI. The choices we make now will have big consequences down the road.
Absolutely. It's not just about the companies, but the bigger picture of their work. Yeah. Will space exploration be this thing that brings countries together? Or will it be another space race, Will electric cars really help us fight climate change? Or will they just be another luxury item? And will AI be used to help us or to control us? These are questions we really need to think carefully about.
Yeah, it's a lot to consider, but considering these things is exactly what we need to be doing. We've covered so much today. Looking at this Forbes article, we've talked about SpaceX's valuation, Tesla's growth, and the rise of XAI. We've also, thought about the complexities of Musk's wealth, his political influence, and even the controversies around his business practices. But if I had to pick one thing for you to take away from this deep dive, it would be this. The future isn't, written in stone. It's being shaped right now by our decisions, the technology we develop, the conversations we're having.
And you, the listener, you're a part of that conversation. Your thoughts, your actions, what you choose to do, they all matter.
So as we wrap up our look at Elon Musk's world, let's not just sit back and watch. Let's actively work towards the future we want.
And that means staying informed, staying engaged, and above all, staying curious.
This is where our deep dive ends, but hopefully this is just the start of a much bigger conversation for you. Until next time. Yeah, it's a lot to ponder, but pondering these questions is exactly what we need to do. Thinking back to the Forbes article, we've covered a lot of ground today. We've explored SpaceX's incredible valuation, Tesla's impressive growth, and the rise of XAI. We've also, wrestled with the complexities of Musk's wealth, his political influence, and even the controversy surrounding his business practices. But if there's one thing I want you to take away from this deep dive, it's this. The future isn't predetermined. It's being shaped right now by the decisions we make, the technologies we develop, and the conversations we have.
And it's important to remember that you, the listener, you're part of that conversation. Your thoughts, your actions, your choices, they all contribute to where we're headed.
So as we wrap up this exploration of Elon Musk's world, let's not just be sitting on the sidelines. Let's be active participants in shaping the future we want.
And to do that, we need to stay informed, stay engaged, and most importantly, stay curious.
This is where our deep dive ends, but hopefully this is just the start of a much bigger conversation for you. Until next time.
See ya.